Welcome back, ladies and gents. Welcome back, good people, to another review here at Take Clark Music, Take Clark's Garage, where we talk about new albums that I've ran across, artists that I'm liking. But before we get into today's music, make sure like, subscribe, hit the Etsy shop, get yourself a cool T-shirt. You'll be the envy of all your friends. Hit the Patreon page. Leave a comment. Let's get a conversation going. Let's talk about some good music, some good jams, some good topics. Had some good topics, had some good comments, had some shitty comments, but it is what it is. So today we're going to talk about Adam Hood and his new album, Bad Days Better. Now, this album was released September 16th of 2022. 10 tracks, runs 31 minutes and 59 seconds. Now, who is Adam Hood, you may ask? Good question. I myself did not know who he was until I saw an artist on my Instagram that I follow named Channing Wilson that was saying that you got to hear this album. So that led me to go listen to it. And pleasantly surprised. This seems to be his third or fourth album. He is a singer-songwriter from Opelika, Alabama. I think I said that correctly. Which means that he more than likely is an Auburn fan, but I won't hold that against him. Roll Tide. Anyways, um, this album, once I got into it, I could not stop listening to it until this day. I'm still listening to it, and my 11-year-old and I absolutely love this album. So let's get into some details about Adam. Adam has written some songs for some top Nashville people. Miranda Lambert, name one of them. She's actually on this album. Get to that in a minute. And some other big name artists. So this is produced by Brent Cobb. Apparently, him and Brent were shooting the crap one day, and Adam has decided that he's going to get clean, which is cool. Not that there's against anybody having a little fun, but sometimes you just got to reset and focus. So him and Brent were sitting around and start talking songs, start talking music, start talking this and that, and one thing led to another. Apparently, the album was born, and Brent Cobb produced it. Now, if you don't know who that is, you need to get off your hind parts, go check that out. Another great singer-songwriter. But today we're talking about Adam Hood. So, like I said, Bad Days Better. 10 tracks, 31 minutes, 59 seconds. Now, gear-wise, I always talk about people's gear. Just looking on YouTube and other outlets, it looks like Adam uses Telecasters, acoustics ranging from Gibsons to Marshalls. I don't really think I could nail down exactly what the cat's using, but you singer songwriter, acoustics, some Telecasters. That seems to be his bag. So let's get into it. As I always say, I'm going to give you my top three, but the problem with this album is I had an extremely hard time narrowing this down to just the three songs that I think are the best. So number three, there's actually a tie. So let's get into it, right? So for number three, which is a tie between two songs, one is not better than the other. To me, they're just equal. It is first we'll talk about Harder Stuff. Now, Harder Stuff is the fourth song on the album. It runs 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Now, as I mentioned previous, he has done some songwriting for some top 40 country people, Miranda Lambert being one of them, and she actually is on this song. And what really drew me to this song was the lyrical content of the things that he's dealing with. And the chorus is one of the best choruses I've heard on a song in a long time. You can't build a house on shifting sands. That's a great line. I myself, when I try to write songs, I try to use lines that make people think, and that instantly just sent me down this wormhole in my mind of different things that people battle, different things that people go through. Now, that might not be the case for him. That may not be why he wrote it that way, but as a listener, that's where it took me. So, telling the story of the harder things in life. He's addressing the harder points of life, not the easy stuff, not the stuff that you always hear about, right? And he's talking about he's lately just been been hanging on, been hanging out with people. Licker's been writing his songs. This is what I'm assuming that he's writing about. And he's gotten clean, so now he's got to face the hard things in life, the tougher choices. So, like I said, tied for number 3 is Harder Stuff featuring Miranda Lambert, 4 minutes, 33 seconds, and it is the fourth track on the album. Now, the other third song on the album that's tied for third is Throw Me a Line. It is the third song and runs 3 minutes and 33 seconds, 36 seconds. Now, one of the reasons I picked this is because he was fortunate enough, or maybe they know each other, I don't know. He wrote with one of my all-time favorite artists ever known to man. He was able to write this song with Warren Haynes. Warren Haynes from the Allman Brothers, Government Mule, David Allan Coe. Warren wrote some songs for Garth Brooks, but I am a huge Government Mule fan. Anybody that knows me, anybody that's talked to me, anybody that's been around me for any length of time, we have talked the Mule. We have talked about the Mule. We have talked about the Allman Brothers. So for him to be able to write with Warren Haynes is so cool. And I didn't even know that before I picked this song. It's just the the flow, the cadence of the song, and again with the theme of redemption. When he's drowning, throw me a line. It just fit. And at the time when I listened to this on the Friday afternoon when I first heard it, there were some things going through my mind, and it kind of led me down that road. So my number 3 song off the album that's tied for 3 is Throw Me a Line, the third song on the album, 3 minutes, 36 seconds. So let's get into the top 2, shall we? Just a second. Y'all know I've always got my purple cup. So, my number 2 song on the album is the number 6 song, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. And it's called Speed of the South. One thing I like this about this is if you are Southern, as I am, I'm from a small town in Georgia, there's a certain pride that you take in the way you carry yourself and the way that we just kind of act down here, and people think that we're slow and all this. Now he kind of touches on that. The opening line of the song, I can't write like William Faulkner, that just freaking caught me right from the get-go. Very clever. um, I love reading that kind of stuff. um, but just the laid back slowish groove of this jam just felt right at the time for me. So I highly recommend this one, Speed of the South, the sixth song on the album, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Now, for my number 1 song on this album, that I feel like is probably the best song on the album, in my humble opinion, which doesn't matter for nothing, is called Flesh and Blood. Now, Flesh and Blood is a straight jam, y'all. So it's got this. I love that the kick and the rhythm guitar follow each other like you're rolling down a highway. And it just feels right. It feels good. It feels like you should roll the windows down. It feels like it just carefree, telling his story about how his life. It's hard to keep it on the road. It's hard to do what you're told. Like I can feel that. I feel that every day in my everyday life. 40-hour week job. It's just it just flows right. So Flesh and Blood for me is the best song on this album. It's the 7th song on the album. It's 2 minutes 42 seconds. It is not long enough. If I get a chance to see this cat live, I'd hope that he would play this and jam this out a little bit because it's got that feel of an older Southern rock song, right? I hate that term, y'all know that, but that's just like the best thing that I can equate this to. It feels like a good Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings jam to me. Of course, it doesn't have that halftime thing that Waylon did. It feels like a really good Haggard song too. So, is that some of this guy's influences? I don't know. I hear it, I feel it on this track. So there you go. Flesh and Blood is my number 1 song off the album. It's the number 7 song, 2 minutes 42 seconds, like I said. And there you go. Those are my top tracks off the album. How do I feel about it overall on my jam scale? 1 to 5. 1 obviously being pass. 5 being you should rock this nonstop as loud as humanly freaking possible. I give it a solid 4. I really like it. My only complaint, and I know the guy put a lot of work into this album, but my only thing is like after Flesh and Blood, the album wraps up very quickly to me, within 10 or 15 minutes. And I just want more of it. Like it's such a greatly produced album. It sounds great. Songwriting's great. You could tell a lot of love and a lot of artistry went into this album. So there you go. Adam Hood, Bad Days Better. Please check it out. Please support artists like this. And as always, be safe and remember that music is love, love is music. Till next time, ladies and gents, keep rocking.